First and foremost, the mentality. Mentality before you go, when you wake up in the morning or before you start getting into a presentation, right? I want us to have the mentality that we are expecting to win instead of hoping not to fail. Okay? And that's huge. That's huge. There's a huge difference there. When you go in with the mentality that I'm going to win at this, I don't care what else is going on, you're going to attack it differently than if you're just hoping not to fail, right? And every single person here and in this world struggles with hoping not to fail, right? This is a wave. So even people that have been in the business for a really long time or been in sales for a really long time, we all have bad weeks. We all have bad days. We all have bad months. And when you get into that, like maybe you ran 3 days of appointments and you didn't get anything. You get into this next appointment and you're like, hey, I'm really hoping that this is going to be the one. I'm really hoping that the same thing that hasn't happened in all those weeks, all those sits, doesn't happen here. And we have to shift the mentality instead of hoping not to fail, that we're going to expect to win. And how do we win? In a sit. Can anybody tell me right now, unmute yourself, what you feel would land you a win after you talk to a customer?
Assume the sale.
Assume the sale. Okay. All right, good. Anybody else? When you hang up that call, what's your goal? What's your goal? What would you have felt like you won? What would have to happen for you to feel like you won?
You got through the presentation and either was able to help them or found out that you wasn't able to help them.
Okay, good. So a lot of people, right, they think that a win is going to be closing business, right? I'm going to write somebody up and I'm going to make some money, and that's what a win's going to be. But what we need to do is see the win as perfecting your sales process so that if you follow all of the steps that you know you need to do and you deliver them in a way that is effective, it doesn't matter if you close the client or not, that's a win for you. Okay. So, for example, I struggled with this a lot. I would get off of calls and I'd be like, okay, well, what did I do? What did I not do? And I'm at the point where it's like, listen, if I know that I followed all the steps that I know I need to do in order to effectively find the right customer, and if it is the right customer, get them, be able to help them. If I know that I followed all of my steps and I did everything that I had to do, and the customer says no at the end because it wasn't the right fit, I'm okay with that. I'm still winning. I'm still winning because I know that if I do this every single time, the result's going to come. So we need to detach ourselves from the result and attach ourselves and our idea of winning being attached to mastering the process.
The process. Okay, I got you.
Mastering the process. We want to make sure that we deliver this presentation with intention every single time. Not everybody's going to be our buyer, right? So who knows what makes a good prospect? What are the 3 things that Christian always says that need to happen for it to work, for that to be the right buyer?
They care, they're healthy, and they have a little bit of money in their pocket.
Absolutely, right? So you want to take them through this journey of this presentation so that if those 3 things are here, it's going to be easy. It's going to be a done deal, right? We need to focus on presenting the steps. Guys, sales is 2 things, to me at least. One, it's finding the solution to a problem. And 2, it's a transfer of emotion. Okay. So when we get on the call with these clients, we're not selling anything at all. Okay. We are seeing if there is a need there, if there is pain there, if this thing that we have to offer, which is awesome, right? We're helping these families out to make the worst day of their lives a little bit easier. And that's huge. So that's what we need to remember every time we go into a presentation. We're not here to push anything, to sling any policies, to get APV, to put our number on that group chat. Like, that's not what this is about, right? At the end of the day, nobody's working for free. We get paid and we get paid well for this. And that's all great and everything. I love it. Who doesn't? But we are really helping people out here, right? So we need to be problem finders. Okay. And the entire presentation is geared towards finding that problem, helping the client to see the problem, feel the pain. And then when we offer the solution, or we don't even offer it, we just present it, the client is going to put two and two together. Okay, I need this. I can afford this. I'm healthy enough. Let's go. Okay. And that all has to do, you know, we can sit here and find the need, find the money, find somebody who qualifies. But if you cannot effectively communicate with the client, I don't care if it's your first day, right? Great salespeople are great communicators. They listen, they pause. When you pause, it gives the client the ability to absorb the information. Just like I'm pausing with you guys now. You don't want to run on sentence and then the person has to process. Now they have to think about it. What just happened? Pause, communicate effectively. And this all begins when you get on that call, right? You're going to get on that call. And I don't care if it's your first day or if you've been doing this for 10 years. In order for you to pass that trust to the customers so that they are comfortable giving you their social, giving you their banking information, you need to do three things. You need to come across as professional, confident, and knowledgeable. Even if it's your first day, you're going to fake it till you make it. They don't know, and I was talking to Hayden about this last night. They don't know how much you don't know. So the world can be falling apart. You can't log into your carrier. You don't know where to put them. Product knowledge, that's going to come. You can use your team. But how to effectively speak to the client and convey that confidence, that's something that you need to work on every single day. And that's going to come by repetition. When we get on that phone call, we don't want to be high pitched, right? Tonality. I think Ray is sick of me saying that. He was practice pitching with me and he said, hey, Mary, listen, we're not going to sell anything. Tonality, your tone, your matter of fact, you're not selling anything at all. Hey, Mary. Hey, Mary, my name is Gaby Allegre. I'm calling you about the mortgage with 123, whatever our script says. That's the tone. We want to attack it as like, this is business. We're not here to sell you anything. We don't need to sound extra friendly like a telemarketer. Like at some point, this client was interested in what we have. And is your job and your duty to get them this information. And you're going to act like that from the very beginning of the conversation. So that's huge right there to have that tonality. Okay. So now let's get into the presentation. I have the script here. I don't know if y'all all have it.
Gabby, what was the third one? You said professional, confident, and what was the third?
Knowledgeable.
Knowledgeable. Okay.
So before we get onto these calls, okay, every single call, what I want y'all to do is I need you to take a deep breath and I watched a TED talk on this one time. It was incredible. It's about how power poses affect us. Like if you smile, it like releases endorphins, and then you become happier, and you're like people that smiled before they gambled, they were more confident, and people that did power pose like this before they got on stage, they were, more effective at delivering the message, whatever the case may be. I want you guys to sit up in your chair. Okay. If you want to do like a big pose or whatever the case may be, let's go. Okay. Before every single one of your sits, you're going to take a deep breath and you're going to put away all distractions. Okay. I have another question for you guys. What time is the most important presentation of your day? Which presentation is the most important one of your day? Anybody? Unmute yourself.
The next one or the one you're doing?
Amen. Yes. It's the next one. We don't care what happened in the last 86. The most important presentation is the one that comes next. That's what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on giving that presentation 100% of what we have every single time. We're going to forget about all the no's we got, all the shit that's going on in our lives, whatever that may be. Everybody got problems, but we're going to focus on this presentation that's in front of us, and we're going to give it our all. And we got to sit up. We got to have our posture. Okay. When you talk to people, they can hear if you're slouching. I'm dead serious with y'all. If you're slouching like this, people can hear it. You need to have your posture right. Okay. Composure, control. You are in control. You're either in control or they're in control. Somebody here is in control. And hopefully it's you. If whatever the client throws at you, whatever curveballs, whatever, if they're rude to you, whatever, you are in control. Hey, ma'am, I'm just doing my job here. Keep the tone, keep the composure. We got a denial. That's okay. They don't know it's a denial. We're not going to say you got denied. Oh, okay. No, they're picking something up here in the carrier, but that's okay. We have options. We're going to go to a different carrier, and it's going to be even better for you. It's all about how you frame it. You are in control. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what you don't know. So just be confident and prepare yourself with your composure to be able to handle whatever they throw at you. You're never going to go out of your sales process. Are you going to sit with somebody who is married but does not have the spouse? No, you're not. You're not. Because even if they tell you that they wear the pants in the relationship, at the end, when you give the options, they're going to say, I got to talk to my wife. Do not trust them. You are in control of your sales process. You need both of the people there together. No, you can't send them an email. No, you can't send them a text message. Okay? You have guidelines that you need to adhere to as an underwriter. In order for me to for me to do my job, for me to do my quote, I need your age, your health, and your income. So how old are you? Right? Always be closing. Whatever the client says, you address it and you hit them with the question. Whoever asks the most questions wins. The question, if they're coming at you with questions and you're answering them and leaving the dead air, you're giving them the opportunity to walk away from you. You are in control. You address the question and you hit them with another one. Get right back into your presentation. Focus. Put away Instagram. Put away whatever. Focus on your presentation. So let's get into it. So this script I made for when I was working incomplete IVRs. And it also works if you're working older leads, if you're working leads that are not fresh leads. Okay, you're going to give them a reminder, right? When you're first talking to them. So everybody has a script. They answer the phone. I want y'all to think like you work at a doctor's office and you're just confirming an appointment. Okay. You're there to confirm some things, to get the job done. You're not selling anything at all. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Nicole. She doesn't have to answer. Hi, Nicole. This is Gaby Allegre. I'm calling about your mortgage with Wells Fargo for 123 Main Street. I'm the field underwriter that's assigned to go over that mortgage protection with you. It's just a program that's going to pay the loan off in case of a death or illness. Slight pause right there. All non-medical. They just had me set up a time to ask you some basic health questions. Are you working or retired? That's the tonality, right? Where have you guys ever gotten a call from like those guys that are trying to get money for like the police force or whatever? You send them a card And they just like, they sound so monotone and so professional that you literally can't hang up on them. But they sound like they're not selling you anything. They're just like, hey, getting things. That's the idea here. You want to make it hard for people to hang up on you because you're just doing your job. Right? So all these questions, every single thing that's in this script and in this presentation, and the script is more like a guideline. Nicole has her thing she does. Christian has his. Chuck has his. But we all have the same process, which is we're going to have an introduction. We're going to do our verification, and then we're going to find the need. We're going to present the solution, and we're going to close with the options at the end. Okay. So even if you don't use the exact same verbiage, except for the beginning, I think the beginning is important for y'all to stick to that because it's very effective, that script. The reason we're asking, are they working or retired? Is because if we're retired, like we can run that right there on the spot, right? If they're working, are you working right now? No, you're not. So you can run it on the spot. Are you married or single, divorced, widowed? If they have a significant other, we want them on the call. That is the reason for those questions. These are qualifying questions. Okay. So we are closing the deal from the very beginning when we first say hi to the customer. With your tone, with your questions, with your taking control. Are you with your spouse now? Yes, no, yes. Okay, go ahead and grab them so we can complete this. Not, could you please go get them? Can they hear me? Blah, blah, blah. Like, go grab them so that we can knock this out. You're in control. This is what you got to do. Roll with it. Be confident. Okay, so when you start running the meeting, get right into it, right? So whether it's right there on the spot or whether you're calling back for an appointment, but before we go into the actual running the meeting, one thing with the appointment setting, y'all, we want to make sure that we are setting these appointments for as close to when you talk to them as humanly possible. If you're talking to them in the morning, you're setting that appointment for the afternoon, the night, or worst case scenario, the day after. We're not setting appointments for a week, 2 weeks, 3. Nobody's going to show up to those and you're going to be disappointed. Don't even waste your time. Set up the appointment for this evening, for tomorrow. Okay? All right. If you want to solidify the appointment, okay, John, you got a piece of paper handy? Go ahead and write down my name, write down my national producer number. And what time was that again? 7 p.m. Go ahead and write that down. I'm going to be calling you from a 305 number. That's my direct line. Expect the call. Cement your appointment. Okay? Make yourself sound busy and important. Hey, so when are you going to have some time? Oh, I have some time. Oh, you can try calling me this evening. Oh, well, this evening I'm really booked. I got a 7:15 and make yourself sound booked. It's not like, oh, I'll call you. Call me at this time. Yeah, I'll call you. No, you're not going to call them. You got appointments. You are busy. You are getting these people this information. So make yourself seem very busy, even if you got nothing going on. Can you do a 6 o'clock? Ooh, that's going to be a little tight for me. Can you do 6:15? It's like it's all a mental thing, right? Now they're going to pay attention to you a little bit more. They're going to take it a little bit more seriously. Your time is valuable. You got clients to talk to. So on the appointment, make yourself seem busy, solidify, have them write it down, give your national producer number if that's what you want to do, set it up real close to the time that you're speaking to the customer. So when you start running the appointment, right? And if anybody has any questions, if you have anything to say, feel free to just jump in and when you get them on the phone again, okay, for that appointment, or if you're running on the spot, we don't need to be building fake rapport. We don't need to be talking about the flowers blooming, the birds chirping. No one cares about that. We're here to go over your mortgage protection. Okay, my name is Gabby, and today we're going to go over your mortgage protection. Again, it's that program that's going to pay that loan in case of a death or an illness. My job is very simple. I'm going to gather information from you, and it's mostly to determine your eligibility. And then if we see that the program's a good fit, I'm the one that helps you get approved for it. What are you doing right there? You're setting expectations, and you are, remember what I said about your closing from the beginning? You are telling them that if they qualify, you are going for approval. I'm the one that helps you get approved for it. My job is to get you approved for it. So when you finish running that need, okay, and you present the options and you say, okay, let me see if I can get you approved, they knew it was coming. Oh, whoa, 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 no, I thought I was just getting some quotes and blah, blah, blah. We're not quote givers. We're here to see if you even qualify for this. And if you do, we're getting you approved. So every single step of this presentation is guiding you towards the close. We're not just like winging it and hoping to present some options and praying to God that they're going to pick one. No, every single part has its purpose. So when we set the table, we talk about approval. It's going to be based on your age, your health, and your income. You're telling them that you're going to ask them for their age, their health, and their income. So when you ask them for the income, they're not going to be surprised because you told them it was coming. Don't skip this. Right? So, okay. I know that your time is valuable. I'm going to go through it quickly, but if you have questions, you ask me. Leave the table open. Be friendly, but be firm and get right into it. We don't need to talk anything about the program at all of its benefits, what it could do, nothing at all at this point, because we don't even know if you qualify. People want what they can't have. My job is to go over to see if you can even get this, because everybody wants this.
Gab, I
Yeah.
have a question.
What's up?
What if the clients say, how much is gonna cost me?
Yeah, so it does depend on your age, your health, and your income. That's why we're going to do this. So, how old are you? Get into it. Okay? I can't tell you how much it's, and if they fight you on it, I mean, you can tell them, listen, it's not the same price for everyone. It depends on how you're doing health wise. So I have a job to do. I have guidelines that I need to adhere to. For me to give you an accurate price, I need to do my due diligence. So let me do my job. If they're going to come and attack you, you're going to hit them right back. Somebody's in control. Is it you or is it them? Always. So then, okay, we verified the loan, correct? Okay, so it's for $100,000, correct? Even the way you ask these questions, your confidence, your demeanor, your composure is super important here. So I have here that the loan is for $100,000, correct? Correct. Your favorite word, correct? I'm correct. You're just confirming. You're correct. We are correct as a salespeople. They're just there to agree with us. Right? And you have this information. You have that it's $100,000, okay? And then when you ask this, ask it confidently. So after taxes and insurance, what does that monthly payment come out to you? Every single month. Whatever the case may be, you write it down. If you're going to do critical time period, guys, that's when they don't qualify for term or IUL. You're going to do final expense. You need that monthly payment to multiply by the number of months to give them a number. Don't skip this. Okay. And you might have the age on the lead, you might not. So if you do, say, I have here that you're 59 years old. Is that correct? Is that correct? Is that correct? My favorite thing to say in a presentation. I know I'm right, but I just want them to agree with me because now they're getting in yes mode. And once they're in yes mode, they're going to give me yeses that I don't even know yet. You want to get the client in yes mode. That is why you're saying a statement and getting them to say correct, agree at the end. Yes. Okay, $100,000, correct? Yes. What does that come out to? X. And how old are you, John? 59? Perfect. What's your date of birth? Ask it right there on the spot. Ask it on the spot. When you get into the app, you already know it. When you're getting into the quote, you already know it. Make your life easier. Ask the date of birth. Ask it confidently. And how about you, Mary? How old are you? 23. And what's your date of birth? Perfect. Yes.
So with your leads, how often are you calling your leads, and then when do you just stop calling them? Is there ever a time, or do you just continue to call them?
So it depends on like how old the leads are, right, and how much of a stack you have and how much you're closing in business. But if you have new leads, you're calling them morning time, midday, and night. You want to make sure that and you triple dialing them, okay, as often as you can.
So what
If you
about when
get it,
you're working older leads?
that's well, yeah. When I have a stack of 50 IVRs, I'm going to go through my stack and I'm going to triple dial them and get as much out of it as possible, and then I'm going to repeat it.
At what point did you purchase more on top of that? At what point did you say, "Hey, I need more on top of what I'm calling"?
Maybe like 3 times when I'm getting a lot of, like, I'm not talking to people. I feel like I've hit up the same number a lot of times, and I'm not getting answers. I need people to talk to.
Like 3 times a week?
A week.
Oh, you said 3 times calling them. Like, okay, I see what you're saying. So you'll call them 3 separate days, and then if they don't answer on those days that you call them throughout the day, then you kind of have squeezed what you can.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thanks.
So this is it's and I didn't understand that, like, whenever I first started. I got like with my old IMO, I got like a batch of leads with like 85 leads, and I thought that that was going to last me like all month, right? Guys, this is a business of talking to people. You need people to talk to. What are you going to do with this presentation if you don't have anyone to present to? When when you're calling and people are not answering, they're not answering you. Get leads. Whenever you close a deal in the beginning, use that money to reinvest in your business. Believe in yourself, buy more leads, and then work those leads, close another deal, get whatever you got out of that, buy more leads. Keep the ball rolling. Okay? Health questions, you want to make sure, and then with the income back in the presentation here, we want to make sure that you get the income every single time. You're not going to get, if you set this up where you're actually going through that second part of the presentation, and you're setting the table where you're saying, I'm going to need your age, your health, and your income, you're not going to get pushback. And it's all about how confident you are asking these questions too. Sound in control, sound confident. Okay. All right. So this is a 2-income household? Yes. Okay. Christian, and how much are you bringing in on a monthly basis after taxes? Confident. Okay. And Monica, how much are you bringing in? Okay. X and X, write it down. And you're going to, as you progress, if you see that they're making good income, right? Here's your opportunity. If there's a need, that you don't have to be scared to pitch high. Because if they have the income and this is important to them, it'll make sense. So pay attention to the income. Now, if they're on a fixed income, they're making $1,000 a month, I'm not pitching a $300 policy, right? We need to be smart about what we present as well. Okay. So the health, very important. You want to make sure that you go, yeah.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yes.
If they say, what do you need my income for? What do you need that information?
So the income is so that we get an overall picture of your household. And usually the golden rule is that we don't want this to be any more than 5% of your take-home income. So that's why we get it, just to kind of make sure that everything aligns here and move on. So if they push back and they really don't want to give you the income, all right, fine. I mean, you don't have to give me your income. That's not a problem. Let's continue here. You don't want friction with the client, right? If you're able to address the objection and they're okay with it and you move on and they give you the income, great, awesome. We overcame that, that's fine. But guys, one thing that I will tell you is if you don't make it a big deal, they won't make it a big deal. Whatever happens, a denial, a modified offer, right? Whatever. If you're cool with it, 9 out of 10 times, if you can transfer that emotion that it's no big deal, they're not going to think it's a big deal. So if you don't want to give me your income, I'm going to tell you the reason I need it. All right, well, I'm not going to fight with you, Mr. Customer. That's okay. We can move on. And just move on. You don't want to get in a fight with your customer. You're always on the customer's side. So then you get into your health. You figure out, right, if they have major health conditions, and you can use your upline, you can use us, you can use Integrity Connect. You have a lot of tools here to see where we're going after we get the health, right? Make sure you ask if they're a smoker. Make sure if you ask if they have issues with the law, DUIs and felonies, right? And this is stuff that you're going to learn. So I'm not even going to focus on this because that's product knowledge, and you have a lot of resources there that you can count on. Us, like I said, Integrity. And this is going to let you know whether you're going to present term or IUL, or you're going to go final expense, right? And then after you get the overall picture of the health, so you see what I mean? Every single part of this presentation has a purpose, right? We need to really do a good job with the health. If at the end of the day, the client gets a denial, it really is our fault, because we should be training ourselves to, and it's going to happen, and it's okay. And it happens to all of us. And that's all right. But if you do your due diligence and you actually learn the health with time, it's going to become, you're going to know exactly where to go, where to place them, so you can have a smooth rest of your call. Now, if the client's lying to you and there's something they're not telling you and you're getting a denial because of that, what can we do, right? We're just going to do our best here with the information that we get. But I always ask them, hey, is there anything else health-wise that I should know? I'm on your side, right? Think of me as being your attorney, and then the carriers are your judge. Like, I need to know what's going on with you so I can place you in the best program. You're on their side. So
Hey,
if you look,
Gabby, quick question really quick before you move on. So you said this is the point where you figure out if you're going to do IUL or term or final expense. Like, where do you draw the line at? Like, how do you determine which one is going to be final expense compared to an IUL or term? Like where on the health, like, is it if they
yeah,
have diabetes or,
I hear what you're asking. Okay, so if they, generally speaking, if they are young and healthy, I'm putting them in an IUL. Okay. And it's going to be a better policy for them. It's never going to expire. It's going to grow cash value. And it's not going to be very, like, if they're in their 20s, their 30s, it's not going to be, the price is not going to be very different than a term policy. They'll pay a little bit more, but it'll be more valuable to them to lock it in. So I'm presenting an IUL if it's a young and healthy person, and we can cover the most of that mortgage or all of the mortgage with the IUL. We're going to do term for people who are healthy and healthy enough, right? And where the IUL just becomes like a little bit more expensive for them, that's where we're going to go with term. And this is general. This is kind of like it's an overview for you. Okay. But final expense, we're going to do when the client has some major health conditions. They're not as healthy and they don't qualify for term or IUL. Generally, the term and IUL are going to be similar underlying guidelines. And then if they don't qualify for those, we're going to go final expense. And the final expense, we're usually going to package it as a critical time period policy where we're covering a certain amount of months for the client. Okay, so
Gabby,
yeah,
question. So when we start this call and we're going into, the field underwriter assigned to go the mortgage protection, and then we want to switch gears and go IUL or term, how do we transition into pitching those programs if we're just talking about mortgage protection? Because even with the term, that doesn't build cash value, right? So how, if we're talking to them initially about mortgage protection, how do we switch gears into pitching an IUL or a term policy?
guys, mortgage protection is just a term. Okay, so we don't need to get stuck on the wording mortgage protection. Any one of these life insurance products that we have, whether it's IUL, term, or final expense are going to do the job in protecting that mortgage in some way. Okay, so based on what the client qualifies for, are they healthy and they qualify for IUL or term? That's what we're presenting. They don't need to know it's an index universal life policy or a term life insurance policy. We don't need to go into that.
I was about to ask that question.
We need to just relate it. They can use this to pay for their mortgage, guys, but it's just regular life insurance.
Hey, while you're on this topic, and that's what I get from it. But what threw me off a little bit, as I heard a few, is when you were saying it can be converted into a life insurance policy later. I was like, is she just saying that just because? I was like, it's already a life insurance policy, right?
That's right. It's already a life insurance policy, but listen, you're using it for asset protection, right? You're using it to protect your mortgage. That's the reason why these leads are great, why this niche is so good, because they have an asset to protect, right? But if they're done paying for the house early or they sell the house, they don't need to cancel the policy. They can keep the policy as a life insurance policy because that's what it's been the whole time, right? They just got it because they had the idea that they wanted to protect this asset, and it 100% will protect the asset. It's terminology, right? We don't need to overcomplicate our lives. Guys, we're selling life insurance here.
Right. So
Right?
you pretty much just ask them, like, before you open up the apps, like the final expense, the IUL, before you get into it, you'll just say, now to your health, do we have any major health issues? And that's going to kind of guide you as to which one you're going to click on to start the app. So you ask that before you start.
That's going to guide you in where you're going to go, what are you going to present, and what you're going to quote. Right? And if you need help with that, you can use Integrity Connect, you can use us, you can use your upline, and that will come with time. We also have underwriting guidelines. I think Nicole has the little booklet for term and that everybody should have. But we can send you those too. So let me see here. Income question is asked on most applications anyway. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so after we get the idea of what we're going to do, guys, and let me tell you something, okay? Let me tell you something. All right. You can know all the product knowledge in the world. You can know what an IUL is, all of the things about the IUL, all of the things about every single product that we have to offer. The most important part of this whole entire call is your delivery. It's not the product. It's you finding the need and providing a solution. When you provide that solution to the client, it's going to be, if you already have the need, it's going to be simple. We don't want to overcomplicate people's minds. Keep it simple. You don't need to be getting into all of the things about IULs and what it does and what it don't. That's not why we're here. We're here to protect this home. If you get sick or you die, one thing, why are you here? What is this call about? Everybody needs to practice and be able to say, hey, this is just a plan that's going to pay off that mortgage if you were to pass away or if you become sick and you can't work. You need to know how to say that, and that's it. You don't need to go on a rant. And my job is just to make sure that you qualify for it. So let's get into it. That's it. Okay. Now, this next part, after you've gotten their health and you're getting some help into figuring out where you're going to place them, this is the most important, arguably, I would say, the most important part of the entire presentation. You are finding the need. You are seeing if this customer needs your help with the solution that you have to the problem that they have. Sales is providing a solution to a problem. When you ask these emotional and financial impact questions, your goal is to guide the customer to see a problem. They need to see that day. They need to feel that pain. They need to see themselves in that situation, that the mortgage bill is coming and they don't have that significant others and they're paying, they're hurting, they're grieving. How are they going to pay this mortgage? This is the most important part of the whole entire presentation. And I always say this when I'm talking to agents, listen, you got to bring in the drama. And if you don't like the words that I use here, I say, hey, listen, God forbid, and your tone here is serious, right? You have been building the rapport you've been building as you're asking the health questions in between. But for the emotional impact, you need to get serious. You need to practice taking yourself seriously and believing in what you're doing so that the customer can take you seriously. Bring it home. I've had people cry when I ask the question. And you don't have to use my words if you're not comfortable, but you need to ask them, hey, listen, this next part of our chat, look, nobody likes to talk about this, right? But it's why we're here. Pause, get serious. God forbid a police officer came to your door right now, Monica, and told you that Rafael is no longer with us. Pause. What would that be like for you? Let them answer you, even if it takes forever. He who talks first loses. Let them sit in the pain. It would be hard. Robin, you got something to say?
I do. Thank you. So what's your rebuttal when you call somebody and they say that they have money and that they're set financially and that they don't need it?
Okay. That's a great question. So when you're doing that, you're the drama. Oh yeah, well, we got something in place for that. Okay. I just say, okay, all right. And then I also ask him, okay, well, what if you lost your job? I'm still sticking to my sales process, right? So even if they tell me that they got this going on, that they got that going on, I'm not going to let them make me deviate from what I know I need to ask. I need to go chronic, critical, and terminal. I need to talk about that, right? If it's going to be a term or an IUL.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a young person, they don't need it. They're not thinking about dying.
No, but I've come across people that said that they're just basically they're wealthy and that they have enough money that it would pay off the house and take care of the family and things like that. And at that point, I'm like, okay, like, I don't even know how to like get my toe in there to still make this important to them.
Sure. So there's two ways that one thing first, not everybody's going to be your customer, and sometimes they're overinsured and they got a lot going on. It's not for them, right? But this is what I always say when I hear these customers. Sure, I work with people like you every single day. And you know what? That's awesome. A lot of people are not where you are. Boost them up a little bit. But I'll tell you this, Mr. Customer. I have two types of clients that I speak to. One, and you need to do this every single time you get this rebuttal. One, they really need this. God forbid something happened to them today, their family would be in a big, huge financial trouble if they don't have this in place. And two, the second type of client is they simply want this. They may have a lot already in place, but they want to make sure that when that day comes, their family is as comfortable as possible. Pause. Use the pause, y'all. Pause. Let it sink in. Is as comfortable as possible. They want to make sure that they're not leaving them with any debt or financial burden. And if it's reasonable, then they get it. After speaking to you, Mr. Customer, and this, I just had a close like this just this morning, exactly like that. After speaking to you and gathering some information here from you, I feel like you would be more in that second category. Would I be right?
Nice. Are you able to, when they're just saying that there's just super, it's like, no, we have all the money and they're trying to get you off the phone. Are you ever able to, still strike a conversation?
I mean, it's hit or miss, right? Some customers
Yeah.
are gonna be like, "Oh, I'm good. I don't need this. I already have a lot of things." And you're gonna be like, you're gonna try to get them the appointment. Okay, well, my job as an underwriter is just make sure that you get this information, blah blah blah. Get them, try to get the appointment. If you can't get the appointment, it's okay. But if you're here in the middle of it and you've gotten this far, like you've already spent your time, you're using that.
Yeah.
You're using that.
Okay. And then one more question. So for the people that say that they're overinsured, have you been able to still strike up a conversation and say, hey, that's something along the lines of, paraphrasing here, something along the lines of, that sounds, that's great. A lot of people, a lot of people don't even have any insurance. How about we take a look at what you have to see if it's possible to combine and save you money?
Yeah. So you can then just shift to do a policy review, right? So okay, that's great that you already have these things in place. And my job is just to make sure that you have all the options that are available to you so you can be certain that you're making the best decision for your family's future, right? So what is it that you have? Investigate, get into it, and then see if you can add any value.
Great. Thanks, Gabby.
Yeah. Okay. So that kind of like went over, we just kind of like went over that whole second part, so that's fine. So yeah, get into the need, critical time period. Okay, if it's a young person, right? So, oh yeah, no, I live by myself. I don't have a family. You go back to my mom or the bank or whatever. Okay. So for you, it'd be more like foreclosure protection, right? So that job, that income that you told me, that $3,000 that you make a month, you got to get up to go to work to make that, or is any of that passive? You already know the answer, guys. You just want them to say it. Oh no, I need to get up and go to work. All right, so if you lost your job because you got sick, that'd go away? Yeah, that'd go away. Okay. Okay. Let them sit in the pain. Be comfortable with pauses, y'all. So then you wrap it up. Whether they say, yes, it would be difficult, or no, if they say, no, it wouldn't be difficult. If you say, no, it wouldn't be difficult, we're hitting them with, they don't need it, but they want it. If they say, yes, it's going to be difficult, then you're going to solidify everything and you're going to say, okay, so if I can get you approved for this plan that will take care of that mortgage, God forbid you were to pass away for your loved ones, or if you get sick and you can't work, is that something that's valuable to you? Your goal in every single thing that you have done up until this point is to get a yes to that question. If you get a yes to that question and they have the money, they're going to buy from you. You have just made them marinate in the pain. You have just brought the cop to their door. If you don't like saying it, like I said, don't say it. If your husband died today, what would that look like for you? That's fine. Just the message is there. Paint the picture, get the pain. And then ask if you can get them approved for it. Because you're doing them a favor. You're providing a solution to their problem. Is that something that's valuable to them? And your goal in every single presentation is to get a yes to that specific question. Yeah? Okay. Let me see what I can do for y'all. Let me see if I can help you. And this is when you are going to build a rapport. You're not going to get nervous. You are going to pull up your quotes. You are going to text whoever you need to text about what policy you need to get them. If you're experienced, you don't need to do this. You're getting your 2 or 3 quotes. You're getting them either term, IUL, whatever the case may be, final expense. And you're shooting the shit with them. You're keeping the client engaged. This is where you build your rapport as you are pulling up these quotes. You're pulling them up and you're writing them down. You're writing the 3 different options. Okay. A lot of people are inclined here to just give the quotes, but we're not going to do that. We need to now provide the solution to their problem. We're not quote givers. Now we're going to explain the program, right? And one thing, if that I missed, if they're single, right? If they don't have, if it's not husband and wife, you're saying, so for this next part of our talk, nobody likes to talk about this. It's why we're here. Same thing. God forbid you pass away today. Who gets the house? My daughter, my mom, my dad, whoever. And would it be difficult for them to continue making those mortgage payments and handle whatever else they have going on in their lives? Wait for the answer. Okay. So if they're single, you're asking who's going to get the house. Would they be able to do it and still handle everything that's going on? And then you're going to push the chronic critical terminal illness riders, right? So if they're not, even if whoever they're leaving the house to is not getting, it would have no problem with it, then you're going to focus on the chronic critical and terminal illness rider. If you get sick, can you make those payments? And we already went over that. So you got bullets, right? So you want to focus, you got death benefit and you got illness riders. So if you fall short here, you can try to get the need, try to get the pain here with the illnesses. All right, and that's all in the script too for y'all if you want to go over that on your own time. I'm taking a little while here, so we'll wrap it up. Okay. As you're getting the quotes, when you present the program, after you get that yes to yes, is it going to be valuable to you? Right? So I'm always going to do like, I always say this, and if you don't feel comfortable saying it, I always get a chuckle. I think it's funny. It's comedic, like lightens the mood. I'm saying, all right, I'm a bad news first type of girl. And the only time that this is not going to cover y'all is if you were to pass away committing suicide or committing a crime. Think you can manage to stay away from those two. And they always do a little chuckle. Oh yeah, we think we can do it. Okay, perfect, cool. Anything else? Illness-related death, accidental, natural causes, you go peacefully in your sleep, which is what we all want. It is going to have that payout to your family. I want to stress the family, right? Second, if you were going to get hit, and look at how simple I'm making this. I'm not complicating it. Death benefit, illness riders, cash value, if we're dealing with a cash value policy. Second, this has, if it's going to be a term or IUL, right? Chronic, critical, and terminal illness riders. So that means if you are going to hit with anything critical, that's anything major, cancer, heart attack, stroke, anything organ related. Pause. Pause when you're delivering this. Chronic. That's anything that takes away at least 2 of your daily living activities. You can't walk, you can't bathe, you can't eat, whatever the case may be. And of course, terminal. You're given a specific time frame to live. Under any of those circumstances, you can use this policy when you are alive to supplement, to make those mortgage payments. Christian always likes to say, you don't have to die to use this stuff, right? Perfect. You can use that, right? Then you can say, if it's just a term, price is never going to go up. It's never going to go down. Okay, it's always going to be the same. If you sell the house, what happens to the policy stays with you. If you can transfer it to a different address, it's portable. And if you finish paying off the home, you can choose to keep it as a life insurance policy for your family, if you want to, right? If it has cash value, we are not going to overcomplicate the cash value, y'all. That's not what we're pushing here. This is just a cherry on top, okay? Another great thing about this policy is that it builds cash value. Think of it like having a high interest savings account. Every time you make a payment, it's accumulating interest over time. If you need to pull from it for any reason, it's there and it's available to you. And if you finish paying off that mortgage, you can either close out your policy and put whatever has accumulated in cash in there back in your pocket, or you can keep it and it'll just turn into a regular life insurance policy for the family. Keep it simple. Don't complicate your lives with floors and ceilings and percentages and all this. Just keep it simple with the client. Go over the death benefit, go over the illness riders, go over the cash value briefly. All right, now go ahead and grab a pen and paper for me. Do you have a pen and paper handy? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay, no, okay. Go ahead and grab it for me. Everything I'm saying, I'm in control. Go grab it. If you could please grab it from no. Go ahead and grab that for me so that we can go over the plans. You're in control. When you present the plans, at least the way that I like to do it, is if you have three options, right? And this is going to be if you're doing term or IUL. We're going to do maybe like the whole mortgage, 3/4, half the mortgage, the case may be. You already have this written down because that's what you were working on when you were shooting the shit with them. When you got that, yes, it would be valuable. Organize yourself. Write down in that client worksheet. Where am I? Everybody should have this, right? The client worksheet. At the bottom, it has the part that says coverage options. I'm going to write down the 3 different options, and then I do, you know, one for the husband and one for the wife. And if it's a single, obviously just the one person. And when you are presenting, also use effective pauses and be confident. Okay. So, Mr. Customer, grab your pen. If we're going to cover this whole entire mortgage for your family, if you pass away, that it's going to pay all of that. Something that Christian uses that I love. If I can get you approved. Keep saying that over and over. It makes them want it, right? If I can get you approved and we covered that whole entire mortgage. All right. It would be build the drama, build the suspense, use the pauses. Don't rush to deliver this. It would be $70 for you, John, and $50 for you, Mary. Pause. If we want it to be a little more conservative, we can do 3/4, which would be $150,000. Still great coverage for your family. Pause. And that one would be X for you, John, and X for you, Mary. If we're doing a third option, you do it the exact same way. Okay. And now, the most important part of the whole entire presentation, this is what everything you've been working on has led you to. And you need to be able to effectively ask for the sale confidently. Okay. I like to say, listen, and in the beginning, you don't have to say this, but you can just ask for it. You can say, okay, so based on your current situation, Mr. Customer, which one of these makes the most sense for you? And shut up. Do not talk. He who talks first loses. Let them talk it out. Let them say it. If you've done your job and they need it and they have the money, they're going to pick an option. If it's too expensive for them, they're going to tell you, well, we need to think about it. Okay. Well, 2 things we need to keep in mind, right? So these are the best rates that you're ever going to get, Mr. Customer, because this is the youngest and healthiest you're ever going to be, and it's based on your age and your health. Okay. But we also want to make sure that it's comfortable for you on a monthly basis, right? So with that being said, what I recommend, what most people do in your situation, is they go ahead and they get started with something that's real comfortable for them. And then if they want to add more coverage down the road, they can always do that. So is that lowest plan that we went over, that $37, is that comfortable for you? If they say, yeah, you roll with it. If they say no, okay, so let's do some adjusting. Present them a lower option and reclose it, this or this. Always be closing. You're providing them you're providing them a choice between a yes or a yes. If they say the lower policy, you write the lower policy. If they say the middle policy, you write the middle policy. You never argue with the customer. If they say anything at all, you say, okay, perfect. Let me go ahead and see if I can get you approved for that and get into the application. You need to ask them, are you sure? Blah, 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 blah. They give you an answer, they're ready to buy. Roll with it. Get into the application. Okay? If you need to undersell, you undersell. All right, Mr. Customer, well, if this seems like it's something that's important for you, do you see that after what we talked about, is this something that you see yourself getting in the near future? Is this a budget thing for you? Yeah, okay. So what I recommend is just getting started at that lowest option. We don't need to try to be a hero and get that the top two. And later on, if things change, we can add more coverage, but at least you got something. And get the close. I'd rather get a small deal than no deal at all. Your whales will come as you present this, if you work on this presentation. And then real quick before because we ran an hour already, the critical time period plan, right? So if they do not qualify for term or IUL, you're going final expense and you're going to package it as critical time period. All right, Mr. Customer. So, and again, word verbiage. You are in control. You are telling them what the best thing is for them. You're not asking them, do you want term IUL final expense? They don't ever need to hear any of that. You are telling them, you are the expert. I don't care if it's your first day, act like it. Act like you're the expert. They don't know what you don't know. All right, so Mr. Customer, based on what we've gathered here, your age and health, it would just be extremely expensive and doesn't make any financial sense for us to try to cover that whole mortgage. So what most people do and what I'm going to recommend is that we do a critical time period policy. So what we're going to do, and everything that the way I'm presenting is assumptive. What we're going to do, what most people do, what I'm going to recommend, what we're going to do is a critical time period policy. You're telling them from the very beginning, this is happening today. What we're going to do is a critical time period policy. When you pass away, the bank's not going to come and ask your wife for $100,000, right? They're just going to want to keep on getting those monthly payments. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover those mortgage payments for a certain amount of time so that your family doesn't have to worry about losing the house. They have time to grieve you. They have time to figure things out. Are they going to sell the house? Are they going to rent the house? Are they going to go somewhere else? Are they going to get another job? Are they going to get a family member to live with? Whatever they told you earlier, when you're getting that need, you're plugging it in here. Remember, you're finding a solution to their problem. Okay, so you present that critical time period. You can multiply the number of months by how many are, okay, say the mortgage payment is $1,000. We're giving them 12 months of mortgage payments. That's a $12,000 final expense policy. If it's $1,000, you're going to present 18 months, 1,000 times 18, and $18,000 final expense policy. Okay, you're going to explain critical time period. You're going to get into explaining your program, and then at the end, you're going to present those options. I included some, there's like a few rebuttals and objections in the script. And you guys can go over that. But the most important things that I want you to remember from this call is you are in control. You need to stay in your sales process. Do not let them make you deviate. Go through all of your steps. Even if you go through the script. Guys, if you care about this, if you care about making money and being successful in this business, you need to practice. You need to watch videos. You need to practice your script. Practice talking in front of a mirror, your friend, your husband, your wife, your dog. I don't care. Practice getting the marbles out. Practice, hey, Mr. Customer, oh, I'm not interested. Okay, no problem. That's totally fine. It is an internal requirement for me to go over this information with you, but do you feel like you're not interested because you don't think it'd be affordable or you wouldn't qualify? Practice your rebuttals. The more you practice, the more ready you're going to be snappy and confident on those calls. Practice the rebuttals, stick to your sales process. Remember, you're not selling anything. You are providing a solution to a problem. Your job is to go through every single one of your steps to find the pain and provide the solution. Okay? Composure, right? They might throw some, I've heard some wild things on the call. You keep it together. You're the professional. They can be rude to you. You can check them. Hey, listen, I'm a human being too, sir. I'm just doing my job. I'm sorry you're having a bad day. You don't need to be rude to me, though. Check people and do what you got to do. Okay? When you show up, put your distractions away and focus on how you're going to win for that call. And how you're going to win for that call is you're going to go through all the steps in your presentation and you're going to follow them. And if there's a need, you're going to follow, you're going to find it, and you're going to present a solution. And that's what I have for y'all today.
Yo, Gabby,
Any-
awesome job. Awesome job. It's amazing, guys. It's amazing to see where she's come from in the short amount of time that she's been with us. You guys can too do exactly what Gabby's been able to achieve. Okay. She's been able to achieve something that me, Pounder, and Nicole took about 9 or 10 years to figure out. So, guys, there was 41 people on here. We see about 20 to 25 of you guys a day, and I see a lot of people that we've seen all, most of the time. If you guys want to see this in action on a day-to-day basis and really see what she's talked about in real time, hop on our Zoom. We are on this thing every day from 10 a.m. to pretty much 10 p.m. some nights. But Gabby, thank you so much.
Yes.
Great job.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for being part of this awesome team. Let's make some money today.